Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today, this is actually a very exciting find from the ladder. We're going to be taking a look at a game that's very related to the SSL that's going on right now. Okay, so basically when you go to the SSL, you show up a little bit early, you warm up on your PC in the practice room, right? Kind of get your hands moving and feel like you're ready to play the most important matches of your life, right? And two of the players that played in the recent SSL group, Group D, that just got released from Tasteless and I, so I won't give any spoilers, hit each other on the ladder right before they had to go and play each other, like about an hour before they actually played in the tournament. And that is Sharp here and Stork down here. So that's pretty sick. I'm actually very excited to see how this goes. Again, I'm not going to give any spoilers about that match. If you haven't seen it yet, the SSL casts that myself and Tasteless do get released on the Africa TV YouTube channel, and I would definitely suggest you check those out. That's the best StarCraft that there is, right? Like SSL, or formerly known as ASL, is the ultimate. And again, this particular group was just released, so I don't expect all of you to have seen it as of yet, and I will give absolutely zero spoilers. We'll just cast this regularly, but they played this just before. So in fact, if you haven't watched it yet, this could be an amazing preview for it. A great build-up on the storyline. Okay, so all that out of the way, we're on Dominator. Sharp is going for what looks like it's going to be a factory expansion. Stork opening up normally no scout as of yet. Looks like he's going to have a very, very fast cybernetics core here. And we'll see. I don't think he's going to make a zealot or anything. It seems like he's really kind of going towards a very fast expansion with a Dragoon. Unsure if he's going to end up getting the range upgrade or anything like that as well, but absolutely no scouting going on. So really going towards minerals here. Sharp scouting towards the other main base, and he's not going to be able to really find anything over there, of course. One tricky thing about Dominator is if you scout in the wrong direction as Terran and then go over here, there's just no way to know if a zealot is on the way. There's, you get over there and you're like, well, I don't know. There could be a zealot that already is on its way to my base. And you have to decide how you want to deal with that, right? There's a few different ways. One is you can make the bunker more quickly. Two is you can go for a 3 depot expansion during which you'll get additional Marines, and it will slow down your command center. Or the other one would be to make 4 Marines, which supply blocks you a little bit longer than the regular Vulture expansion does, right? So these are kind of your options. Now, the SCV coming down. Now, sometimes you can actually look at the situation and know what happened. Oh my God, it's a 2-fact. So this, what I said has no bearing on anything. And in fact, he just found the best opportunity to 2-fact. And it was obviously luck-based. Like, he was already planning that. But he comes in, and this is like a 305 Nexus, which means that range is slowed down. Now, when range is slowed down, Marines fight against Dragoons really, really well. And if Marines fight against Dragoons really, really well, it means you don't need to make a bunker. If you don't need to make a bunker, the 2-factory becomes a lot stronger. This is a pretty good map for it as well, because you do have this high ground area, which means if your Marines are on the right side as the Dragoon starts to come up, you get a lot of free hits. So the Marines counter the Dragoons even harder. A lot of pros right now are skipping bunkers on Dominator. Now, up comes the Dragoon. 3 Marines going to come out. A 4th Marine comes out. Oh my God, Stork. What are you doing, crazy guy? Okay, he walked a little bit far. He sees no bunker, but he didn't get close enough to see the command center. And as I said, it's very common right now to not make a bunker on this map because it is a high ground. So Stork has no idea what's going on. He is adding a very fast robotics. The 2-factory play is going to be a 1 add-on 2-factory, which is important to note. So it's going to be maybe 2 siege tanks. It probably won't be 3. 3 would be very, very slow here off of 1 add-on. If you want to go 3 siege tanks with a 2-factory build, you get a 2nd add-on. Here, he'll be a little bit more Vulture heavy. He'll move out a little bit quicker. The economy flows together a little bit better. You can make more steady SCVs. And there you go. Speed upgrade on the way. So yeah, it's going to be a 2 tank with speed vultures coming in. He's starting to move out here. but doesn't even have the secondary tank yet. So that's kind of an interesting thing as well. Now, notice that Sharp has laid a couple of mines. This is going to allow him to enter high ground without taking shots. This is actually really, really big because the Dragoons could be standing over here and get a bunch of free shots. But now he's got this kind of defensive area as well. If he starts to get overwhelmed, he can run back past the mines. But here we go. Sharp running up. He's going to try to lay a mine. Ooh, beautiful. Very smooth laying that one mine out. Stork targets it down really, really expertly, but he's almost lost one Dragoon so far. That's definitely one that he wants to target. And in fact, Sharp does. He overkills it by like a lot of damage there, by over 30 damage. But yeah, he is doing a great job with this push thus far. Just hitting so quickly. He's killed a couple of those Dragoons now. He's got the mines in the way. Speed is almost done for the Vultures, but no siege mode, right? So he's still going to be taking some hits on these siege tanks. Oh, Stork has targeted that one. He hit this one twice. If only he had hit this one once, this would be a much easier hold for Stork. Now, Stork is fighting with a lot of probes. He's actually still up 9 probes, despite the fact that he's losing some. You know, the 2-factory play is pretty all in. You definitely have to do a significant amount of damage to get the game to an even position. Obviously, sometimes you kill with it as well. And you know what? This pylon and shield battery wall, brilliant from Stork. Just awesomely played. Ooh, boy. Okay, that actually wasn't so bad. And Stork has basically held it. This wall is MVP. Like, he made it so that you couldn't rotate the Vultures down, and he could actually pull the Dragoons pretty well out of tank range. That was a pretty damn good hold. That was a pretty darn good hold, man. Seriously. Now, Sharp is not done completely. He is making a command center, but he's still got his speed Vultures, and he's very, very good at offensive mines. Notice that Stork does sack a Dragoon. He was trying to drag a mine into that tank, and it doesn't look like that will quite work. He does have the Observer come back, so he can clear some of these mines. And I think it's pretty done now. I think now, if you don't pull back the tank, you're just throwing it away. Well, Sharp disagrees. He's going to lay some offensive mines here, try to get some hits. Thing is, the shield battery has done a good job, like, lengthening the life of these. See that? Heals that Dragoon right up. That was, like, the 2 Vultures were sacrificed to get this Dragoon that low, right? And if he didn't have the shield battery, the tank does kill it. But the shield battery really changing the math on everything here. So Sharp does pull back. He does not waste the tank, but, you know, he did spend some additional Vultures, and they weren't that great how they were utilized. Now, Reaver Tech coming up for Stork. Reaver Tech generally is the best follow-up against a 2-factory that doesn't kill you. And the reason for that is the 2-factory player has to buy a command center, so it's very hard to afford turrets. And you see he is making the engineering bay, but it's very, very hard to afford enough turrets, right? Like, you're trying to produce out of these, you're trying to make SCVs, you're trying to get your command center up, and now you need to add missile turrets everywhere. It becomes a very difficult situation. So I think that this is a great follow-up here from Stork. And a 3rd gateway coming up as well. Looks like he's clearing some of this area. Wants to make a nexus over here. Ooh, the Vultures run in and actually deny that probe. Really good move. Slowing down that 3rd base, always a crucial thing to try against Protoss, especially in this type of situation, since you're trying to catch up as far as economy goes. Still down 7 workers or 8 workers at a time right now, and that's a little bit painful, right? You know, if you're down, you want to keep the worker count as close as possible, okay? And he didn't kill that many workers with his 2-factory play. And to see Stork up that many, this is like Nexus first versus, you know, just a regular factory expansion type of number. So, and of course, Sharp did that to himself, right? He chose to do the 2-factory build, so he is a little bit far behind on that. By the way, you can see he is going into Goliath range here. He has a couple of siege tanks set up. Very defensive setup here. This is like a very funny-looking depot set. But actually, it's pretty darn good. I don't think he meant for it to look exactly like this. I don't want to attribute too much genius to this, but this is not bad. This is a pretty solid defensive area, I would say. Okay, so right now, it does look like Sharp is gearing up for a much longer game, which I think obviously he would have to in this situation after that failed attack. He is catching up in workers a little bit. I mean, he's still 6 down. Stork definitely has a much better economy. But, you know, if you can... the closer you stay, the better the game is for Terran, right? That's like one of the big metrics I'm always looking at in Terran versus Protoss games. Can you stay within a few workers of Protoss, and for how long? And in the best Terran games that aren't just like one-sided stupid games, you can sometimes stay pretty close within 2 or 3 workers up into the 50s. He's actually kind of recovering here as Stork powers up. Stork is not consistent on producing out of every Nexus, but Stork will probably jump up to 65 to 70 probes pretty quickly here. And Sharp will be left alone, left behind a little bit. This is the time that you're going to be adding your comm sets. You can see the Academy being made. But yeah, anyways, he is going up into 5 factories. Double speed shuttle flying in now from Stork. Going to bomb on top of some of these turrets. Leads, of course, with that shuttle that has the Zealots in it. Trying to micro these Reavers a little bit. Oh, he eats that mine shot, but does kill the tank with it. Oh, gosh, you got to be careful not to lose that. He's going to pick off the missile turret, so that's nice. But doesn't really get that much done. But it's also not... it also wasn't a huge sacrifice or something like that. Now, Sharp taking his 3rd command center. He's done a very good job recovering out of this 2-factory play that didn't do that much for him. Getting his 3rd command center started. I think in this type of situation, Stork, 100% you throw down another Nexus. It looks like he had a pylon here, so maybe that Vulture got a kill on the probe that was going to make a Nexus. But you definitely want to make this. And you could sit on this for a bit. But I think that Stork, like, look, he has Observer Speed and he has Psystorm on the way, so that's really great. His Zealot leg's almost done here. Like, these are very good upgrades he's getting. I do think that he needs to think about that 5th base, okay? That is going to be very important here as well. Obviously, you need to have 4 Nexuses up against the 3 command centers. That's going to make it kind of evenish. But he should be thinking about, like, okay, when and where do I want to take a 5th? Do you want to expand here? A more defensible up here on the high ground? Do you try for something like the other main? I don't think so. This looks like the most likely, which is, of course, why Sharp has a single spider mine there to kind of check when that's being taken. Now, Sharp moves a bunch of units over to this side. He wants to make sure he keeps this well defended as he gets his 4th saturated. 60 probes to 56 SCVs. Both sides still making some workers here as well. Yeah, I really want to see Sharp get up to at least 65 probes here quickly so that he can really have great saturation. Now, right now, Stork is moving around with Observer Dragoon, just kind of clearing out some of these mines. We saw the Reaver over here, maybe harassing a little bit on the Vultures. He's just kind of contracting Sharp's position. There's no reason Sharp should have vision to here and vision to out here. And that's what Stork thinks. That's the way it is. And he pushes that vision back, right? So Stork, like, if you look at what Sharp can see, let's just see. He's pretty blind right now. This is the best thing he has going on the map. And in fact, you see Stork did come down to make the 5th. So this is another slowed expansion. Remember, the Vultures sniped the probe that went up here. Then they sniped the probe that went here. And now they sniped the probe that went here. So every single time he slowed the bases. He slowed the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th bases here. So really, really excellent play there from Sharp. Now, Stork is coming up. He's about 40 supply up. He is on 4 bases. He's going to do a very dedicated attack. He has Psystorms. Let's see what he gets done. Sharp right now bringing some more units down. Oh my god, those mines, unbelievable. Some Psystorms go down, but this is such a dedicated attack from Stork. Now, here is the problem with this attack, because the attack does not actually end up working. Like, yeah, he killed a lot of units, and yeah, he's still up like 35, 40 supply like he was before. But remaking that army, like, I kind of like Sharp's position a little bit more than I liked it before, okay? So if you are attacking on 4 bases against a 3-base Terran, you actually need some real damage done. Because at this point, they actually already have the factory count. And so here's the thing, right? Like, reducing siege tanks are great, but when you reduce your own army as well, Vultures gain a lot of power. So for instance, right now, he could send a lot of vultures on the map, and there's not a lot of dragoons to slow him down. Okay? Also, Protoss has a harder time at this point because they have to refill that really big army and expand, right? It's just in general much, much better to take your 5th Nexus and then think about attacking. So anyways, Stork flying in now with 3 shuttles to the main base of Sharp. Gonna bomb out those Zealots. His shuttle's taking a lot of damage. This one barely left alive. See if he's able to actually save these. Yeah, good snipe there from Sharp targeting down the shuttle, and he's going to be able to kill off those Reavers. They were pretty low already, so this all gets cleaned up. By the way, of course, we saw Sharp taking his own 4th base, and the fact that his 4th base is going to be finishing before the 5th Nexus, this shows you the place that I think that Stork has misstepped this game, right? 100% he could have had this, and it could have been done before this started if he had focused on getting this up and then thought about the attack, right? And of course, you know, Sharp's supply might be a little bit closer at that point and stuff, and maybe you don't end up attacking because of that. And I'm not saying that you should never attack on 4 base or something like that, but like this is something to really take into consideration because it feels like now Sharp is in a much better spot than he was before. So he's set up really well. He's got a nice wall over here, good defensive stance. Let's take a look at his upgrades. 1-1 at the moment, and he does have +2 just started. So his upgrades are a little bit slow. We have +2 for Stork with +1 armor on the way, so he's going to stay at least equal on upgrades. 5th Nexus finally finishing up, and the probes are going to go down there. Stork moving around the map with a very, very large army. And yeah, once again, he's going to just kind of contract this position for Sharp a little bit. And in fact, he might attack. This is very entrenched up here. Psystorms could do a good job against that general area. And does Sharp actually have enough to hold this off? Now, those Psystorms are amazing. These are such good Psystorms. But do you continue to push? As the Zealots dry up, the Dragoons will get slaughtered, right? The Zealots are such an important part of this. Now, those are some very good Psystorms. Oh, it looks like he is just enough. Stork actually dealing huge amounts of damage now. And here's the thing, like I was pretty critical before about the attack on 4 bases, but in some ways it did lead to this as well, right? If you didn't do that attack, this attack couldn't have occurred exactly like this at this time, right? Like obviously the whole game changes completely once you make such a different big choice. But this was definitely one that needed to work out well. I think those Psystorms are what really sealed it for this very clumped area that Sharp had. Now, Sharp will technically hold on. And one thing to mention is he has a lot of gas, so we need more than 2 add-ons. And we don't have that right now, but this is the most important thing Sharp needs to do is he needs to add a 3rd add-on, ASAP. Okay, pulls out of there. Replacing siege tanks is at an absolute premium right now. By the way, Sharp's worker count is the same as Stork's. So even though you see like no SCVs up here mining and it's like, oh wow, he's doing really well, 62 SCVs is completely fine in a game that looks like this. Like a Psystorm heavy game that's kind of scrappy, yeah, 62 is pretty darn good. So he's going to be able to reset up this area. He's not anywhere near supply blocked as well, even though he lost a lot of depots in there. Now, Vulture's going to rotate out a little bit, and remember, this is what I said before, where if you kind of trade armies a bit, okay, reducing siege tanks is good, but you have to look at the bright side as Terran. Vultures become stronger because you don't have big groups of Dragoons with observers around the map. You see, he did remake some Dragoons. He's trying to come out here and do something. There's like 1 Dragoon over here that'll get sniped off, but right now, look at that. Slows the 6th base. He's literally slowed every single base this game. But yeah. The Vultures are going to be a bit of a pain, and now the Dragoons have to run around and do cleanup once again. It's like, okay, clean the mines, you know, clean out the area where I want to take my 6th base and that type of thing. Okay, looking over here. Oh, he did add that 3rd add-on. Really, really important there. By the way, we see 2 forges for Stork, so he's actually doing a fantastic job as far as upgrades. He's going for 3-2 right now. Really, really good against Sharp, who is just about to hit 2-1. Sharp moving back into a defensive stance near this 3rd base area. You can see that like he's got to bring his whole army to wherever Stork's going to attack. Stork is maxed out, but 146 supply is enough to hold this if you're set up well. Now, he comes out and actually snipes some of these shuttles. Very well done with those Goliaths, but there's a lot of Zealots in here, and we don't really see that big of an army for Sharp. He is rolling some more units out. These vultures going to be absolutely key. Another Psystorm goes down, but luckily does not hit those 2 siege tanks. Backs up. Siege is here. Does he have a storm left? Almost. It would be amazing to hit a storm into this area. A lot of SCVs on there, but it looks like he's going to use it more on the army here. Okay, a couple Dragoons getting aggroed into those siege tanks. Ooh, maybe he can still get a storm off on these SCVs. This would really be strong. Hopefully Sharp is able to target that. Okay, he storms the tank, which it's not terrible. It's not terrible. More Zealots running in. It seems like Stork wants to try to finish it, but it's 5 base versus 4 base, which really, again, is not that scary for Terran. Like, if you're down 1 base, that's about even a lot of the time. Now, obviously, this has been a weird game, right? Like, Sharp was on the back foot for a lot of it, and his unit count is getting really, really small right now. Losing mining for any amount of time can be painful as well. He needs to keep his production really, really high, excuse me, to refill this army before more attacks come in. Love the double missile turret and mines up here. It will slow Stork down a little bit. Oh, God, still has Zealots over at this base. It seems like Stork is putting on enough pressure everywhere that it's really starting to work out all these attacks. Stork, by the way, taking a 6 base over here. Looks like Sharp didn't have anything there to slow him down, so that's kind of nice. And yeah, it looks like he will be able to parry this for now. Pushes that back. That siege tank on low ground, very well positioned. 3rd base really needs to be retaken ASAP. And like what I think Sharp needs to do, because he's been playing defensively like here and like here. He's been playing a very far back defensive game. I think he needs to play defensively here. Like, he needs to take the risk. You can build missile turrets on these pizza slices, but if he can hold this general area protects like everything over here, right? And he might die because it's more wide open. But I think at this point, as Stork has taken a 6, he's getting set up to take another main. There's only so much you can do playing it like a retracted game with these bases, right? You're going to have to do a little bit better. You're going to have to go a little bit more forward. And if he does set up in this general area, that might allow him to take this space. So you can see Stork's watching this because he knows that this is very likely the next space taken. Although, I mean, you could go in this direction, take over here, although it leaves this side very weak, and it makes this side of expansions very strong. Whereas if you expand in this direction, you have more ability to pressure these 2 bases, which are the 2 most important bases on the map late game for Protoss, right? So these are kind of the options that we're looking at. And of course, as he seesaws, right, if you go over here, Protoss can consider taking this base, even though it's pretty close to Terran. I don't think it's super worth it because it's pretty quick for Terran to get over there and kill it. But it could be something that is taken into consideration. Okay, let's try to take a look at the actual place that the game is in. Worker count, very similar still. Stork about maxed out. His upgrades are absolutely phenomenal this game with 3-2. Lots of speed shuttles mixed in. Lots of Zealots in those. Some Psystorms. Sharp moving his whole army around. He's at 150, so he technically has enough units. I love his science vessel count. This is one thing Sharp is really good at, is getting a lot of science vessels in this matchup. Some EMPs going to try to go down to block some of these Psystorms. Oh, man, that one was really painful indeed. Some of these mines looking to shred his army, but he does pull back in time. More Psystorms here from Stork. Really, really beautifully played. Look at those Psystorms getting on top of the science vessels as well. It is time to pull back, though. As the Zealots dry up, you do not want to overstay your welcome. Things go very badly running into siege tanks with these Dragoons. So he does back up, and you can see Sharp lost a fair amount of SCVs. His supply is really getting low. And I tell you, it's a pretty darn good game from Stork. He is looking strong here. You know, that 2-factory opener from Sharp, we have to kind of remember, thinking back, we're 24 minutes into the game right now. This opened up with a 2-factory rush that didn't really do that much damage. Sharp has done a great job of recovering from that. It does feel like at times Stork maybe should have expanded a little bit quicker. That was one of Sharp's superpowers that allowed him to get back into this game, was slowing those, the 3rd base, the 4th base, the 5th base, and the 6th base. It's crazy that he's able to do that, man. That's like... that is some top-level stuff. If you can slow those bases consistently, it is very, very annoying for Protoss. So let's see what Sharp does. It looks like he's once again getting into the very defensive, very far back spot, which again technically can help you to live. Ooh, nice little vulture run in here, getting some probes and some High Templars. But just the fact that Stork is getting ready to take that Nexus, like this mining at really good capacity with Psy Storms and cannons in there, like it's going to be so hard to do anything against this. And Sharp is going to run out of minerals eventually here. Like he's been harassed so much, he hasn't yet. He's been pretty efficient. Okay, he's moving his army down this side. I don't think it's possible to do a full push that's going to win, but this might be his best chance. So I can't really fault him because it feels like if he entrenches now as this is being taken and takes this, it's like, okay, well, Stork has everything, you know? It's just, it doesn't seem like that's going to be a situation where he's going to be able to win. Now, here comes Stork. Sharp leaves a couple siege tanks. This will kind of slow that army a little bit, maybe get a few good shots. He does have a little bit of energy on these vessels, like one defense matrix available. And the Psy Storms is where it's really going to hurt. Okay, an EMP shoots out, but a couple storms do go down. These tanks getting very, very low on health. Oh, I think that's going to be it. I think that is it. Well, now I know that's it. GG is called. And yeah, it looks like Stork is able to take Sharp down. Guys, if you haven't watched the SSL, definitely do check that out. Thanks for watching. Hope that you enjoyed an excellent game here between Sharp and Stork. Love to see it. And we'll see you next time.